Committee on Parole is called back to order. The time is 1:03. Remote location is at Avoyles Bunkie Detention Center. Our next case is Mr. Wesley Simmons. Mr. Simmons, would you please give us your full name and DOC number?
Good afternoon, Wesley Simmons, 530204, my DOC number.
Mr. Simmons, I want to explain our process to you. I'm going to read some information into the record, then we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we will allow those persons who wish to have any input to speak. Mr. Irwin Vile with Plimsoll Marine, your employer would like to speak. Your brother, Walter Simmons, would like to speak on your behalf. We also have here in opposition, Mr. Randall Meyer, the Jefferson Parish District Attorney's Office. After we complete the interview and hearing, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then we'll vote. You understand our procedure?
Yes, sir.
This is a matter of Wesley Simmons, DOC number 530204, date of birth February the 26th of 1990. He is a fourth class offender. He has a parole eligibility date of June the 4th of 2021, an adjusted good time date of March 19th of 2029, full term date of November the 14th of 2024. He is serving a 15-year sentence on the charges of distribution of legend drugs, possession with intent to distribute cocaine, having been adjudicated a habitual offender, possession of cocaine, possession of heroin, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and a contraband charge. Is that accurate, Mr. Simmons?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Simmons, your case has been assigned to me, so I'll begin our interview process. How old are you, Mr. Simmons?
I'm 33 years old.
And how long have you been in prison on these charges, Mr. Simmons?
Going on 9 years, almost 9 years.
Tell me a little bit about your educational background. Before did you go in school?
I made it to about 8th grade. I got a GED.
When did you get your GED?
I got my GED in Swanson, LTI. I also took Carpentry 1 core curriculum. Also, what else I did? That's about it I can remember for the most part that I was actually proud of.
You're 33 years old and you're a fourth felony offender. Why all of the crime? You've had 9 arrests, 4+ felony convictions, and multiple misdemeanor convictions. Why all the crime?
Well, growing up in New Orleans, growing up in poverty, like growing up in the area where I grew up in, like I had a problem actually feeling like I needed a gun to protect myself. You know, just living my life in fear, living my life worried, thinking somebody was gonna rob me, kidnap me for, me selling drugs.
Drugs and alcohol involved?
I never had a problem with alcohol. I never had a problem with drugs. I always was the person that just was trying to make me some money.
All right. So you were selling drugs?
Yeah.
How long? When did you first start selling drugs?
Man, I started selling drugs when I was about probably 19 years old.
What kind of drugs did you start out selling?
Weed and crack.
What did you progress to?
What you mean?
Well, weed and crack, you charged with a bunch of other things too.
I sold, the way I grew up, sir, I knew how to sell every drug. I knew how to sell every drug before I knew how to fill out a job application.
Have you ever had a job?
Not until I come to jail this time. I had 3 of them.
Had a job on the outside?
Never, like, unless you want to call me helping people with bags or working at the flea market or something like that.
So basically you made a living selling drugs?
Yeah, basically my entire life until I come to prison.
Tell me what kind of programs you've taken while you've been in prison.
I took understanding and reducing anger feelings. I took risk management. I got partisan parenting now. They finally gave me that. I got and Money Smart reentry. I took several classes.
Tell me about your write-ups back in June of 2020. You're arrested for handmade shanks and other contraband. Tell me about the contraband.
The knives was mine. The drugs wasn't. They got a dude by the name of Devontae Bernard with a sworn affidavit, try to take ownership of what he did. It had a lot to do with me and the environment that I was in. I was surrounded by probably 110 inmates in one dome. You got these dudes migrated with different area codes. I'm not a part of none of it, so it makes me outnumbered, and it separates me from them. So where they think I'm better than them because I don't deal with them. That makes them envious of me because, like, you know, certain people like favor me because of that. And I just felt like I needed like a protection. Like if you see guys getting jugged up every day and, you know,
So
blood.
you had guns on the outside and knives on the inside.
Yeah, because I had the wrong kind of mindset. I felt the need of protection. Like,
tell me a little bit about the inciting the riot charge back in August of 2021.
The inciting the riot came about with me being a TIL representative. By me having an opportunity to speak as the TIL representative, I took the hardest fall. If it had nothing to do with me threatening nobody or nothing like that, I had all the people saying that I didn't have nothing to do with it, or it wasn't me, and had a lot of them saying that I shouldn't have said anything. But I was the TIL representative, so when they asked for someone to speak, I spoke, and they got me, the assistant, and they got the dude that actually had something to do with it. You know,
you came before the board on February 10th of 2022. You were denied because of your disciplinary reasons and needed more programs, law enforcement, opposition. What have you done since then? What programs have you taken since your last hearing in February of 2022?
I took risk management, money smart, partisan parenting, and understanding and reducing anger feelings.
What did you learn in risk management?
Risk management taught me, all right, this is what I got from risk management, like by the heart. Risk management taught me how to be aware of high risk situations, like negative peer group, like people that I ain't supposed to be around, people I know I don't want to deal with, and how to take take advantage of my opportunities, how to take advantage of like my adequate support system, not lead the people wrong or turn them off, or to rely on those people. You know what I mean? Other than negative thoughts, Let
me ask you this. What do you think your drug dealing, all of those years of selling drugs, what do you think that did to your community?
I believe it done a lot of damage. Like by me being older and wiser now, like having understandings, I believe that it done a lot of damage. I watched my mother suffer with drugs my whole life. I watched my aunties, uncles, cousins. Like I grew up in a house with 21 people, a 4-bedroom house. I was the youngest. I slept on a paddock, on a floor in the closet. If not, I was in a bed with my grandmother. So.
Simmons, I looked at your report. I looked at everything, and I said, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to have an interview, and make some. I have my interview with you. You're not helping yourself. You don't seem to have any remorse. All of the havoc that you caused to people selling drugs to. God only knows how many people you've killed as a result of your drug dealing. You don't seem to be concerned about any of that. It's excuse after excuse after excuse. So tell me if I'm wrong.
Honestly, I could give you multiple reasons why you're wrong, because my heart is not into the streets no more. My mindset is not into the streets no more. And
those are words.
Do I regret selling drugs? Of course I regret selling drugs, because I understand the damage that drugs do to the families, do to homes, even the dealer. I understand what it does. And me, I was just a young kid that didn't know any better. I just knew that was the. Yes, sir.
Didn't you know that before? You said your mother was on drugs. Didn't you see the damage the drugs did?
Of course, but I didn't learn that until I got older, up in age. You know what I mean? Like, so I got older, up in age, I started being aware of what it actually does. Other than that, I just know it was a way to make money. And I never had to harm anybody. I'm grateful that I never got robbed. I had a lot of things stolen from me before, and break-ins, stuff like that.
Where are you going to live at, Mr. Simmons, if you get out?
When I live, I'm relocating to St. Charles Parish, man. I'm going towards Desperate, somewhere closer to my job,
What you going to do there?
I'm going to work off. I'm going to work. I'm going to work offshore. I'm going to earn mines the right way. You know, I grew patience now. Like for me to come to jail 2014, they tell me I'm not getting out to 2029. I know how to wait for things. I know how to wait for money. I know how to wait. So I'm not desperate. You know what I mean? To get involved in today. I don't want to even be around it. I don't associate with it in jail anymore. I don't associate with those kind of people anymore. I separated myself from a lot. You know what I mean? Like, do I got remorse of selling drugs? Like, of course I do. But you know, I was a young man, a young kid that thought he was a man, and that was all I knew. Once I learned better, I done better. Once I had the chance to work, I took advantage of it. Every time I had.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate your comments. Who is there with you?
Captain Wayne.
Captain, can you tell us anything about Mr. Simmons?
Yes, sir. He's not involved in none of the troublemakers over here. He's been here 498 days. He has no write-ups. He's respectful to the staff over here.
Good. Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments. Let's hear from your brother, Mr. Walter Simmons.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Good afternoon. Tell us what you'd like us to know about your brother, Mr. Simmons.
I'd like you guys to know that my brother had an unfortunate circumstance since he was a kid, man. Like he said, he had it rough, and we all had it rough. And fortunate, I was able to take a route different, and I blame myself for not being a big brother and a good person and a good role model for him. My brother was pressured, bullied, and actually hoodwinked into being into the streets. Other guys he thought was his friends, who he thought had his back, who's going to lead him, they down the wrong path, and it forced his mind to have that mindset of that because everyone around him was that. Everything was negative. And but I do say my brother has been corrected. He has been corrected 2 times over. He went through the torture. You guys actually freed him. He served his time. You guys actually freed him and had him in a work release program. He was home free. And some type of clerical error, you guys sent him back. Imagine being free, going home to work, being able to see your son, being able to live a normal life, and being told that there was a clerical error. You have to go into prison for 10 more years. Can you imagine what that does to a person? Now you send my brother who's already was actually excited, happy, and ecstatic that he has a new chance at life. Now you send him back to a new prison around different criminals, around like a stranger, tougher environment, and you expect him not to try and defend himself. He would get eaten alive up in there. He really get eaten alive up in there. So I ask that you guys consider and please have the empathy and be an awareness to see that this guy is reformed. He is changed. My brother has been through a lot, and his demeanor and attitude says it. He's a strong young man. He's been through a lot. He's persevered over every curveball that has been thrown at him. And I hope you guys please understand and see the inner lining of that. He's really going to be great and a really good person in his world. He has a son. He has a career waiting on him. He's destined to go up. It's no more negative things. And I hope you guys really consider that. Like, honestly, from the heart, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. We appreciate your comments. Let's hear from Mr. Vile, Mr. Irwin Vile. You're on mute, Mr. Vile. Still on. Yes, now we can.
Yeah, I'm Irwin Vial. Wesley had worked with me for about 2 years. First day on the job, he worked with me on a tugboat, Claire Ellen, and first day on the job, like every deckhand comes out there, I'll lay down a law, tell him what I expect out of you. You know, if I chew your ass out, it's not that I don't like you, it's because you're doing something wrong. You know, I'll be straight up on the job, how things go with me out there. You have your good days, your bad days. Yeah, you know, Wesley did a good job for us the whole time he was there. I mean, there's times when you gotta correct people, you know. So look, don't take it personally if I'm on you, you know. Wesley did everything I could ask for, like when you wash the boot, do it correctly. Painting one time, you got paint all over the stainless steel door. It took him 2 days with us SOS pass. I said, look, lesson learned, you know. And then these young guys, they come out there. This ain't the first work with these people that come out there. We get these young guys come out there with us, and like they don't have nobody to talk to. So, you know, me over the years, I kind of trying to find out what's going on in their life, you know, why he's out there working with me. And Wesley was telling me his story about growing up roughing it in the neighborhood. And I told him mine. I said, look, I use myself as an example to these young people, because I had a rough life growing up, but I had somebody give me a chance, and I've been a captain now for 40 years. And I'm not the easiest person to work for.
No.
I would like to say that if Wesley put up with me for that long, you know, he really that we work for, they even, you know, they all would like to have it back. At Plimsoll, we try to open doors for them, like we tell them, you know, we can open the door. It's up to you to go through it. You know, once you go through it, don't look back. Just keep looking forward. You know, everybody, we don't judge people by the past over there. We try to make them successful, no matter what part. If you go work in the office, work on a deck in the wheelhouse, we try to get you from the deck to the wheelhouse. If for some reason you can't get a license, we'll work you into the office or wherever we can put you. But I like to say on behalf of with Plimsoll, you know, they do whatever it takes to make you successful. You know, we will never hold anybody back. And, you know, I mean, like when he went back to jail, I mean, we thought he was being free. I would like to think I'm a mentor to him, because I'm gonna tell you, I don't think Wesley ever had nobody like me chew his ass out when he's wrong, and you know, and respect. I don't know how else to put it, but it's like when I say something, he knows what it means. Hey, I don't want to have this conversation again, and they know what that means. Hey, if when I chew you out, I'm not gonna hold it as a grudge. It ain't gonna be an everyday thing. It's just the way we are. And with Plimsoll, as far as Plimsoll, like I said, if for some reason, if he can't get released, he has a job waiting on him. It's a good paying job. He has they'll do whatever it takes to make you successful in life. I mean, they did it for me 40 years ago. They opened the door and hey, you got to go through it, but you got to stick with it. You know, like I told him years ago, hey man, you got to find new friends. You know, the whole time he's been in jail, the whole time he's
very much. Appreciate your comments. Okay. Now we hear from the opposition, Mr. Meyer.
Good afternoon, Randy Meyer, Assistant DA Jefferson Parish, and I'm opposed to Mr. Simmons' request for parole. What I heard today in his interview was excuses, blaming his past, blaming his everything for what he did. But the fact of the matter is, he has a horrible history. I think he's a dangerous individual. He's got weapons on just about every offense he's committed. And he says he's learned, but he hasn't learned. In 2020, he got a disciplinary report. 2017, he had 2 disciplinary reports. 2021, while he was incarcerated, he's got the charge of inciting a riot. And we look at his programs, and the programming is very limited. There's very few vocational programs. He completed 100 hours. And that's essentially it. I think there's more rehabilitation that needs to be accomplished by Mr. Simmons before he is released. So we're opposed.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Mr. Simmons, is there anything you'd like to say before we vote?
I ask that you guys take into consideration that I not blaming my environment entirely, because I still had an option, but once I knew better, I done better. And like me making parole today is not about just getting out of jail. It's about taking advantage of my career opportunity, getting to my son. It's not about me getting out of jail because I accept accountability for what I've done. I was raised like that, and that was the only way I knew how to earn. Like, I know better. I want y'all to understand, I know better. I know exactly what to do in my life. I know exactly how to construct my life. My boss, he's real tough. He's real tough. He's one of the hardest ones to work with. He's strict. Like, he'll wipe behind y'all after you wash the boat to see if you really cleaned it. So that's kind of like things he mean when he say, the times he had to correct me or whatever like that, like to make sure you don't get over on him. My brother is everything to me. He's everything to me. I wish that y'all take into consideration what they said and understand that, you know, I'm a guy with a terrible past, of course, but I have a bright future that I'm trying to obtain. And it does not take 15 years to be rehabilitated. Like, I knew I wanted better the moment I got into the back of the police car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew I wanted better the moment I got into the back of the police car. I knew better then. It's just that at that time, I still was bitter. I still wasn't accepting things and seeing my life for what it was. You know, it took me to sit in jail for a little while to understand like that is more to it. And it took for me to meet, you know, my captain and, you know, the guys that I work with to understand like, you know, I can actually do this other than that. If I could make $1,000 every week, go inside to a lady and my kids, like that beat the streets in the eyes all day, you know, and I'm sorry for the things that I've done, the way I, you know, invaded the community with the drugs. I regret it. You know, I like to see myself, whether if it's today or 2029, that ain't what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is what I know how to do, and that's, you know, work off, show my hands, or either build something dealing with carpentry. You know, I just hope that I don't be misjudged by my past, misjudged by the mistakes that I made, and understand that like what all I need is this one opportunity. That's all, like one opportunity. You know what I mean? One more opportunity, and I guarantee you, like, you know, I'm gonna make some people smile, and I'm gonna have a testimony one day.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Appreciate your comments. Is the panel ready to vote? Yes. All right. Mr. Simmons, I've listened to you very intently. I've listened to your supporters. Sounds like you're very hard worker. Sounds like you're on the right track. Sounds like you're trying to get your life together. You're right. You got a lot of criminal past. Done a lot of things in the past. I'd like to see you go a little longer without any disciplinary write-ups. I'd like to see you take a few more programs to better yourself, to really understand. I'm not sure that you really understand what you've done to people with your drug dealing. I don't know that you're truly remorseful for what you did. I think you're moving forward, you want to move forward, and I see that. I think you're on the right track, but for me, today is just not the day. My vote would be to deny your parole. Good luck to you. Rocha?
Mr. Chairman, my vote is the same for the same reason.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur.
Good luck to you, Mr. Simmons. You have 3 votes to deny your parole, but we want to see you succeed. So continue to work hard. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir.
We'll be adjourned at Walls.